angels. You're welcome. Hello and welcome back to my channel. With me today I have the one, the only, the Stella Guan.
Hi.
Today we're going to hear more about her story, what it's been like in her roaring 20s, because she's turning 30 this year. Look how fabulous she looks.
My God.
But it's been a long journey for her to get here, and she's had some amazing accomplishments that she's worked really hard for, and I thought it would be really great for her to share these accomplishments with you guys to, you know, sprinkle a little bit of inspiration out into the world today. All right.
Okay,
Let's get started. So, to talk a little bit about kind of where we are right now, so this is Stella's lovely home that she's decorated to such cute perfection, such colorful accents and a cute little couch, and it's adorable. I love it. This is her home. This is her
Welcome to
apartment.
my home.
She bought her first home all by
I
herself
did.
in her 20s, which is very uncommon these days because they say that millennials don't want to own, you know, a home.
Or they cannot afford.
They cannot
Yes.
afford. That is very true. So tell us about buying your first apartment, how that process went, how you saved the money to do it.
Yeah, so I bought my first home, which is right here, and when I was 26 going on 27. So I, at the time,
I'll be
was...
26 next year. I don't think I can see myself buying a house.
I thought you were
next year.
16.
Oh.
Anyway. Anyway, so I actually was working at one of my older jobs as a graphic designer. I was not making a lot at the time at all. I was in a tech company, and I was slowly starting to make a bit more, but I realized I really need to save up and move out of my old apartment in Queens. So at the time I was living with 2 roommates. It's actually not a bad apartment, but we were having roommate trouble constantly. And then I told my mother, and my mother was, she was telling me, have you considered buying? And I thought, are you crazy? Of course not. You know, I'm living in New York City. How can I possibly afford something so expensive? It's easily over $1 million anywhere in the 5 boroughs. So I told her no, and she said, how do you know you can't afford it if you haven't even looked? Yeah. And I said, yeah, actually you're right. I haven't looked. Why don't I just start now? So I looked at everywhere in New York City, and it was not looking good, right? Basically everywhere was super expensive, and most inventories were co-ops. So co-ops, for those of you who are not familiar with it, co-op is a kind of a glorified lease. Basically, you are buying into a corporation that owns the building. You are not really the true owner. You just have a really, you know, high-end lease because you can actually sell your ownership. Again, I'm using this air quote because you don't really have true ownership. But 75% of inventories in New York City are co-ops, and I do not like that. If I'm spending that much money, I want to own it outright. So I only want condos. And I was looking everywhere. It was very hard to find something within budget. So then I thought, okay, what are my options? And then I discovered New Jersey. Actually, along the river, we have a lot of beautiful buildings right over there. You guys probably can't see it, but it's an amazing view. But in New Jersey, most inventories are condos, which means you can own it outright. And I feel like, okay, that's worth my investment, right? So I started my long process of looking for the right condominium for myself, and it took about almost 10 months. I was looking everywhere with my real estate agent. Every weekend, we look at houses. So we actually, I made an offer to another apartment, not this one, and I got rejected. But my agent said, well, we're going to have to keep trying. And then 3 months later, I found this place. It actually is a better decision. It's much bigger than the studio, and it's only slightly more expensive. And by that time, I already saved up enough money to put a down payment on this apartment.
What do you recommend, like percentage-wise?
You have to do 20 if you don't want to pay monthly premiums. Something called a PMI, which is sort of like like a penalty because you didn't put down 20%. So if you put down 20%, you don't have that added cost each month, which can add up and really jack up the overall price of your investment or your own home price. So I put down 20%. I saved up sort of strategically a year before. It was really, really tight, but I just know that how my budget and how much money I need to put down every month in order to meet that goal. It was definitely not easy, but you just can't slack off and buy this luxury bag one month and then go out and then plan a trip. So I really didn't start traveling until I bought this apartment.
Awesome. That is such an accomplishment. And your house is on the market now.
It
Let's
is.
put this plug in. She's selling her home and moving to LA.
Exactly. Right. We're currently accepting offers. So if you're interested, let me know.
Leave a comment below.
Leave a comment. So shall we go back to the mixing? All
we
right.
are mixing with, believe this or not,
with water.
Chopsticks.
Oh yes, we are
water.
mixing
No,
with
chopsticks. I was like, Stella, do you have like a mixer or a whisk?
No,
She's like,
no. And let me show you why. It's much easier because with a whisk, everything kind of sticks to all these like sides of it, and the chopsticks only has one side, so it's really easy to get everything off and just mix it really well.
That's
so,
such a good point.
Exactly. So basically, what you do is you pour the water slowly and then mix while you pour it. And I like to pour it in the middle first, where there's the yeast and the sugar, to slowly dissolve it, and hope it works out. I actually make this every other day as my lazy breakfast.
And is this healthy? Is there like a reason?
Is.
Are you working on like your health right now? Or?
I am. I actually have been chronically sick since last year. I was diagnosed with chronic gastritis last summer. It was a excruciating journey where I couldn't really eat for months at a time. I lost a lot of weight. And I'm still trying to gain back weight, but it hasn't been an easy journey. So part of my strategy to regain my health is to start making everything from scratch and really controlling the ingredient. So that's how slowly I became better. And also I went to acupuncture consistently, which literally saved my life. It has been very, very helpful. All right, so now we are getting this dough into sort of this loose state. I don't know what to call it, but so after
flaky loose state.
So don't actually, I should probably clean my hand before I start using my hand to mix it. We'll
take a break.
Yeah.
So I met you around 2 years ago in the summer, and you were just starting this journey as your lawyer. You were getting everything ready because you had been spending the period before then, probably like a year or something, working up and building your portfolio to get this special visa that's granted to really like exceptionally talented people in their field.
Yes.
So what you did was you worked to build a portfolio of winning all these awards, talking at all these conferences, and building this like spectacular portfolio that you then presented in order to get to be granted your special visa to continue staying in the United States and not needing sponsorship. So let's talk about some of these conferences, these awards that you've won, and talk a little bit more about your passion and what it is that really gets you going.
Right. So I forgot to introduce myself.
What do you do, Stella? Now that you're not a director in LA, what do you do in New York?
So I originally came from China. I moved to the United States as an international student when I was 18 years old, and applied to several universities in the U.S. And I ultimately got accepted to a university in Philadelphia, and they gave me a full scholarship, which was really the turning point of my life. I was so happy that day. I screamed, of course, and I actually did not graduate from high school in China, by the way.
Maybe you shouldn't say that.
Well, I don't care now because I graduated from college.
Right, it's over. She already got her degree. You can't do that.
Exactly. So I actually just went home after I got accepted. I didn't care. I didn't care to finish school over there because the curriculum.
Wait, how many days were you away from graduating high school?
A year and a half.
Oh, because it's different over
Yeah,
there.
it's different. It's different. I actually applied a year early, which nobody cared because over here in the U.S., I mean, if you're pretty much close to the age, which I was close to the age.
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
you can.
Interesting. So it works
Exactly.
with the fact that you met the age requirement in
Yeah.
the U.S. Even though you didn't have a
Nope.
degree in China.
Nope.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're not.
Loophole for everyone watching.
So I moved to the U.S. by myself at 18, and I finished my degree here. I earned a bachelor's of arts in communication, which, by the way, has been listed on the top 10 major that makes no money after graduation.
I thought you were going to say something like inspiring, like great major, everyone come. Yes,
Nope.
communication
Nope.
is key.
Nope.
No, she's like,
Nope.
you ain't making money with that degree.
So I set myself up for a great, bright future. Obviously, making no money, but anyway. So I, of course, started working after I came back to the U.S. to become a graphic designer. But I had to get a work visa called the H-1B, which some of you might be familiar with. It's very, very,
So annoying.
very restrictive.
Yeah.
Some even go so far as to say this is a slave visa because you're basically owned by the company, whichever company you're working for. So they have a complete say over when and how long you can stay in the United States, right? So that is not ideal for anyone. So I decided to take matters into my own hand and just figure out ways to do it by myself without a sponsor. And I realized I can do it by applying for the EB-1A green card, which requires you to prove that you are at the top of your field with accomplishments such as awards, jury memberships in international competitions, and being a member of invitation-only organizations. So I thought, even though I have nothing at the time, I thought maybe I could do something, Well, why can't I? Because I'm in the creative field and we have a lot of opportunities to win awards. I just need to win them.
Right.
Yeah. So
No big deal.
Exactly. So I spent a couple of months trying to figure out what I can do, and I came up with some portfolio pieces that are entirely my own. It did not belong to any company, which allows me ultimate freedom to submit them to awards and competitions. And within several months, I won a few awards, which was really a relief and a good start. And then I actually took a trip to Italy to accept the award, which
I
was
remember
amazing.
this because I was working with you.
I actually got approved for the green card within several months, which is really, really quick. And I remember that was easily the best day of my life. I screamed in the shower for 30 minutes straight without stopping. And it was
so cute. You worked hard, you got it, it's on the way. And if people are out there who have issues with the H-1B1 visa, this is also a path that you guys can go down in terms of being exceptional professional in the field that you are studying in or working in, and building a portfolio around saying, hey, look at all this amazing work that I am doing in this country and why I deserve to continue to be here and add value and really have an impact on the world through my work. So.
All right, so I think this is almost ready. It doesn't look all that pretty, but so we're dividing it into 8 equal pieces like this, halfway through, right? And we'll actually make this into a proper dough later. But a good actually tip right here is we need to cover this up so that it doesn't air dry. All right, so now we're only gonna start with 1 and then repeat the process 8 times. So we are ready with our bun.
So you've spread it out after she rolled it. She made it a perfect little roll. Spread it out.
Exactly.
Can you see how helpful I'm being? Spread it out.
To a little, circle like this. So actually, now we need to make our fillings.
Filling time. Wow, this is taking forever.
I know.
While we continue this process in speed mode. why don't you tell us about your business?
I know.
Hello.
Hello, entrepreneur. So anyway, I quit my full-time job last month to become a full-time entrepreneur. It's still very scary. I still don't know what I'm doing, but basically I am becoming an entrepreneur in the creative education field, a program to help students who graduated or are just looking to change their career into the creative field. So basically the main pain point is they don't know how to get a foot in the door, right? Because most companies are not willing to give them a chance because they don't have any real world experience. They always require you to have 1 or 2 years of experience, but how do you have those experience if nobody gives you a chance? So my company will launch a boot camp program in partnership with many small to medium-sized agencies and businesses. And basically the idea is to have creative directors there handhold these students who are a part of the program and give them real projects to work on for 3 months. So by the end of the program, they learn a ton about client expectations and how to really work in a company. And if they perform well, they get the opportunity to be hired directly. Or even if these companies can't provide them with a full-time job yet, they can either hire them as a freelancer or they walk away with a recommendation letter with a real-world portfolio.
That is amazing.
Yep. So that's going to
so
be
cool.
what I'm focusing on in the next year. So what you do is you put them in the center like this. Don't put too much. Not too little. Just enough. And you will close it in half.
This looks so bad.
Okay, not like this. No.
All right, save it. I'm done.
We've put our buns into a bamboo steamer. If you don't have this, no worries. You can use a normal steamer to steam your buns. Now we'll let the buns rest for 20 minutes so they can rise up. After 20 minutes, you're going to want to steam your buns for 10 minutes on high and then turn the heat off and let them cool for 5 minutes. Do not open the lid during this entire process or the buns will shrink.
Okay, welcome back. So we have let these steam. We've had them rest for 5 minutes and we're ready to open them up. Super exciting. It is darkened, but it has not taken us all day to film this video. The sun has just disappeared somewhere in between.
Exactly.
Okay, Stella.
Okay.
Oh my God, they look so cute. Look at our buns. Look at our buns.
Oh, they're sticking together.
They're so cute. Oh my God.
Gotta do it slowly.
Oh, and look at the coconut filling in there. Stella, thank you so much for teaching us
You're welcome.
this delicious recipe. Thank you for telling us about your life and sharing your story with us. I hope people watching were able to learn something about just working hard in life, overcoming things that come your way, putting your health first, prioritizing that above everything because health is wealth.
Making good buns.
Making good buns. Cheers. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. Please subscribe and like, hit the comment section, and we'll be back soon.
Bye.
Bye. Yay.
You recorded, right?
I hope so.